Hello everyone, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about the surprising episode 11 from wonderful PreCure, which was the Kickstarter of Cure Nyammy's arc in wonderful PreCure. I was expecting things to start next week, but no, they started today in episode 11, and I thought it was super cool. So we have some intertwining stories and some very nice writing in this episode. I think the writing of Wonderful is really being something else. They are doing an amazing job with it. So we have one very simple, straightforward storyline. Some people have been hiking in the mountain and they have found a very scary animal that does a very peculiar sound. And so this is the topic at school. The girls notice that they are talking about a garu-garu, and we have some funny scenes with Komugi, obviously Komugi being always very funny. And they decide to go to the mountains, and Komugi and Iroha call Satoru to go with them. There is one very interesting part in this scene, which is Mayu. Mayu notices that they are talking about going to the mountains. And she wants to be part of it because she is Iroha's friend, so she wants to be included. But, they did not leave an opening for her, so she did not include herself in that. And so she stayed in her own lane. And so this is like the background for this episode. And we have the girls going, not the girls, we have Iroha and Komugi together with Satoru going to the mountains while Mayu stays in town. She stays at her house. In the mountainside, I really like certain aspects of Iroha that I feel like are clearer now. Komugi has only one brain cell. We know that. But Iroha also does not have many brain cells. I feel like I believed that Iroha, at least from the start, from the get-go of the show, like Iroha would be like the one, more of a grounded one, but she is not actually. She is someone who lets her imagination flow, and we've seen that in this episode when they were going up in the mountains, when she was trying to think of the animal that turned into a garu-garu. Like, she thought of the most absurd enemies that had nothing to do absurd animals that had nothing to do with the description of the garu-garu. And we have Satoru is the one with the brain cells, and he is always bringing them to reality. They are always dreaming and, talking about the most absurd things. And, Satoru is always bringing it down to reality. He is the one who creates the techniques and the strategies in battles. And it's clearer day by day, episode by episode, that Satoru loves Iroha. He is in love with her. He is infatuated with her, because at the start of this episode, when they start going to the mountain, when he sees Iroha coming, we see her, even the hair is flowing more, because that is how Satoru is seeing her. He is totally infatuated by Iroha. And, he almost says the D word, date. He almost says it was a date, but it was not a date, Komugi was there. And it's very funny that he was left behind when they left running, because now he has to learn how to run. He has to get the stamina, and the show is forcing him to do that. This is the second time that he has to run after the girls. And, at the end of wonderful PreCure, he is going to be a good runner. I'm sure of it. And I feel like the mountain part was cool because there were certain details about the characters that I really enjoyed. For example, what I talked about Iroha and how funny she is as well, and how loose some of her screws are. And there was also the fact that she started noticing that around her, there were very few enemies. When she was a young child, when she was younger, she used to go picnic into the mountains, and she noticed that there were lots of animals around her, and now they're not anymore. So, it's not that she and Komugi, they are completely scatterbrained. They are completely inept is that the word? Inept to do anything. They can also think of things. They are also able to rationalize certain situations. Not every time, because they need to give us a little comedy, but they are able to do that. And she was able to rationalize and understand that because of that, it might have been the garu-garu that was scaring the other animals away. So I really like the progression of it. So we have a danger in the mountains. Komugi, Iroha, and Satoru going to the mountains. And at the same time, we have Mayu staying back at an inanimal town because she can't go to the mountains. And there is one very funny thing about all of this. Mayu is so anxious and she's so nervous about being Iroha's friend and, wanting to enjoy her friendship that she does not question why Iroha is going to the mountains. Like, why is the reason that Iroha has to investigate this animal? This can be dangerous for a regular person, but this does not cross her thoughts. Like, okay, this does cross her mind like, she is going to go to the mountains. They're going to meet a big monster. They're going to have fun. Like, for her, it's like she is missing the moment with her friend. And then she starts thinking, this is going to be dangerous. This can be dangerous because this animal can capture them as well. So it's very funny because she does not really rationalize the fact, why are they going there? She does not, but she wants to be part of it. And I feel like that is going to be very relevant towards her transformation into a cure in the future, because now she has a reason to want to be a cure. So far, she does not have a strong connection with animals. She has a strong connection with Yuki, which is her cat, but she does not have a strong connection with her animals like the other characters. So now she has a reason to want to be with them and also a reason to become a cure, because if she is a cure, she will be able to enjoy more time with Iroha and Komugi, but she does not know that yet. So Yuki is listening to everything. And then so we have Mayu feeding Yuki milk. Isn't that dangerous for older cats? Isn't that supposed to be just for baby cats? But yeah, she is, and she went out to buy milk. And when she is coming back, something big happens. Ooh, girl. Honey. So we have the mirror stone, which was very relevant at the start of the season. It hasn't been mentioned in the last few episodes, but it appears again today with a blue shine because a new girl appears in town. And that scene was so beautiful. The way Mayu looked, the way the girl appeared slowly, walking slowly towards Mayu, and the way Mayu opened her eyes, and in one of her eyes, there was the reflection of that girl. We don't know who that girl is. I mean, we do, but the show did not tell us who she was. She just comes to Mayu, looks at her, and says, "Do not go to the mountain." And she leaves. But the way the scene was handled, the animation, the lack of sound, it felt ethereal. It felt really magical because it is magical. And even if we did not know the spoilers, it would be very clear who that girl is. It's Yuki, the cat that is now able to turn into a human. And I thought that was her first transformation into a human, but it was not. I mean, yeah, it was not her first transformation into a human. So she just says that and leaves. So that makes Mayu very impressed. And so Mayu won't go to the mountain. And Yuki had a cold voice, emotionless, toneless, but it was an act of caring for Mayu. She did it so that Mayu would not endanger herself by going to the mountain. And she already knows that the wonderful PreCures exist. She's already seen them fighting. And Mayu hasn't. Mayu has been very focused on her own stuff. And so later on, Mayu meets Yuki again as a cat, and she tells Yuki that she has seen a very beautiful girl who she's never seen before. And I just love Yuki's expressions, both as a human and as a cat. It was amazing. Yuki, you are the biggest diva of wonderful PreCure so far. But there are other divas too that I forgot to mention while I was talking about the mountain, which are the 3 ladies that buy on Pretty Holic. They are customers on Pretty Holic. They also appeared here, and I have to open a parenthesis. They already have more costumes than Rosemary did. They have the same amount of costumes that Rosemary did in Delicious Party PreCure, but we're talking about 10 episodes of Wonderful against 40-something episodes of Delicious Party. I'm very angry. And then they keep on investigating. And so I was very happy to see those ladies. I cannot forget to say this. I was very happy. I'm very happy that they keep on appearing. They have some sort of big participation in Wonderful PreCure. I would love if they were actually involved with the PreCure part, like if they were part of the villain side or something, or if they were from Nico Garden or something. I would love that. It would be amazing. But I don't think that's the case. But I do like the recurring appearances that they do. And then Komugi and Iroha, they end up fighting the bear. They transform and they start, trying to get into combat with it. Not combat, into action with it. Again, Satoru being the one to give not only the girls, but I feel like it's also a dialogue with the audience, because they are teaching us certain aspects about animals. And it's cool to know those kind of things. If you like animals, I feel like it's cool. It's cool to learn. It's just curiosities about specific animals. So they were like, Satoru was talking about certain things about bears. And talking about animals, it was very bad that Daifuku was not with them. So animation, where is Daifuku? And so we have the action scene. The action scene was very well animated. Very, very nice, actually. We had some pretty cool shots there. I really liked some of the shots. And I feel like if we had combat, this episode would have been like stellar. Because, action scenes like those, the chase scenes and the escaping, kind of boring, but the shots were cool. And the techniques that they used were also nice. Cure Friendly using the lion power and then both of them stacking on each other so they become bigger and they scared the bear. And they noticed there are scratches on the bear. Oh, and I forgot to mention another thing. We see the wolf again. And I feel like they're trying to show more. They're trying to show more about the wolf because the wolf, it's imminent. I hope it's soon that we start learning and seeing more about it. So I am like thrilled to see the wolf, even if it was just like the other episode that we saw. And then they were able to purify the bear. We now have a new kid-eating animal. I liked how fast things were at the end of the episode. They already took it to Nico Garden and we just saw another part getting restored, and the kid-eating bear was training, and then they talked about the scratches they had, and they mentioned that those scratches were made by another PreCure. And from that shot it was clear. It was her, the queen, the diva, the powerhouse, Cure Nyammy. And so Cure Nyammy was already a cure prior to the day that this episode aired. So before, we had this, all of episode 11 happened in a day. So in the day before, or days before, we don't exactly know, Cure Nyammy was already existing. So that moment that we saw with the Mirror Stone was not the first time Yuki transformed into human Yuki. And Cure Nyammy's appearance at the end of the episode was also not Cure Nyammy's first appearance or Yuki's first transformation into Cure Nyammy. The thing is, the girls were shocked that there is another PreCure, but they know nothing about it. No one knows anything about it. And I feel like it opens a lot of possibilities because Nyammy was not able to purify the Garu Garu. There is a big difference in terms of attitude and personality between Yuki and Komugi and Iroha. Very big difference. Or the Inukais. I love this term to reference Komugi and Iroha. So the Inukais, they have this more humanized or affective look into the Garugarus. It does not seem Nyammy does not seem to have it. She probably entered in combat with it because she scratched that jewel that they have in their head. So she scratched it. She tried to confront it somehow. And that is something that makes me curious to see Cure Nyammy doing, and to see if she's going to have a change of heart to do things like the girls, like Wonderful and Friendly, or if she's going to wait for Nyammy, for Lillian to arrive so that they can start purifying the Garugarus with their own power in their own way, because the dynamic is completely different. If we look at Wonderful or Komugi, after she turned into a dog, and the motives that made her turn into a dog, they must be completely different than Yuki, because Yuki's motives to turn into a human and into a cure, they do not surpass Mayu. In the first time, they didn't. Obviously, she is going to be Mayu's friend as Yuki, but we don't exactly know what triggered her transformation into Cure Nyammy, but it was not Mayu, because Mayu was probably sleeping when she became Cure Nyammy, went to the mountains and fought that Garugaru. Maybe she was trying to protect Mayu from danger, but in a different way, obviously. And now she is just, going around and jumping around the roofs as Cure Nyammy. What a diva. I cannot wait for next week, because next week the girls are finally gonna meet Cure Nyammy. They're probably not gonna discover that Cure Nyammy is Yuki in episode 12, maybe in the future, but not now. But I'm excited. I just love her. Her design is incredible. Oh my God. And I was not expecting her to appear today. What an episode this was. Really, really incredible. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. Please leave a comment with your opinions on episode 11. Let's keep talking about it. Just want to take this little time to thank the members of Magical Cinnamon. If you're a member here on YouTube, if you're a member on Patreon, if you support me on Throne, thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate it. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.